worms are trying to come in and take over our big cabbage. So we're going to get them out. We're going to see how much they weigh. Praise God, they have grown for a really long time. That's a nice head. But you can see where the worms are really trying to take it. Later. How's that? Let's go weigh it. So this one here started out being the biggest of all the heads, and then it slowed down, I think because of little overcrowding. Wow. That's a 10-pound head of cabbage, 10 pounds. Hey folks, welcome back to Pruitt Homestead. We've got a lot of things on the agenda for today. I've got some cleanup to do in this bed where we picked a few cabbages. We've got a cabbage here that needs to be picked and weighed. I am totally blown away by the 10-pound cabbage that we picked out of this this bed here. I thought it might have been in the 5 or 6 pound range, and it ended up being 10 pounds. I believe this cabbage here is going to be larger, and then the one in our front bed right out there by the door is going to be even bigger. My goal was to grow a big cabbage, but I didn't think it would be that big. Right now we've got some F-22s coming in and landing at the airport. Those are some amazing aircraft. That's really important that as you harvest your crops, your cabbage for example, go ahead and clean the beds up. You do not want to give pests a place to live. All we would be doing by leaving these leaves here would be invite cabbage moths to come here and really just infest. And so we're going to clean these up, and we are going to feed these to the chickens. We grow it on a small urban homestead like we have here. It's so important to take advantage of everything that you're growing. I mean, just like these outside leaves for the chickens. You know, if we could get them to take advantage of this, that's food that we just don't have to feed them. The goal is to be more self-sufficient, and that means financially also. So if I'm feeding chickens my leftovers from the cabbage crop, well, that's in line with the goal. Let's get these over to the chickens. These chickens love cabbage leaves. Now what you can't see from the camera is on these leaves are little worms, cabbage worms. which is the primary reason we're harvesting these cabbage, is because we don't want to lose them to the cabbage worms. So these chickens, first thing they're going to do is they'll go through here and they'll pick out any worms that they find. Then they'll come back and they'll clean up the cabbage also. They love cabbage leaves. Let's go ahead and go harvest that third head of cabbage that was in that bed, and we'll weigh it. Our goal was to grow some big heads of cabbage, and we have really accomplished that. And the lesson that I've really learned in this adventure is it's okay to spread your cabbage out. You know, for example, I had 3 heads of cabbage in this bed, 4 heads. And I've got 2 heads over there, and I've got a head in the back that I've already harvested. Cabbage needs room to grow, right? It wants to stretch its leaves out so it can do photosynthesis. And that's been a big lesson. Last winter, I planted 2 rows of cabbage, and we made cabbage, okay? We produced heads that were, you know, maybe 2 pounds apiece, but we didn't produce any large heads. We didn't produce any 5-pound heads. So it's okay to spread your cabbage out. Row crops are great, and row crops are convenient for harvest, you know. But for things like cabbage, because you're growing such a large head and that it will feed you a lot of food, you don't have to do cabbage in row crops, unless that's, you know, your purpose in life, you know. But for our homestead, for our urban homestead, I think this is going to be a new practice for us. When it comes to cabbage, we're not going to plant 50 heads of cabbage. We will plant maybe 10 heads of cabbage, and we will spread them out throughout all of the gardens so that we produce large heads. Oh my! Wow! That is a big head of cabbage. We're going to strip some of these outer leaves off and feed them to the chickens before we weigh it. I'm sure you can imagine taking these leaves off is reducing the weight, right? So how much? I don't know. I would say a pound at least, right? So let's kind of strip it back and let's see what we got here. These chickens love this cabbage. And what they really love are these worms that are in here. Yeah, I let some worms get on my cabbage, right? But I think we're gonna be okay. I still think I'm gonna have a good head. That head busted. It busted when I picked it. See this? It's split. So we'll have to eat this really soon. That head's 11 pounds. 11 pounds. That's a nice head of cabbage. Give this video a thumbs up right now. That right there is your squash vine borer. That is what wreaks havoc on your summer squash, on your zucchini and your yellow squash. They are nasty, nasty little creatures. And now it's going to be chicken food. Psst, psst, psst. Psst, psst, psst. Psst, psst, psst. That's going to be it for right now, folks. It's about noon. The sun is high in the sky, and the temperature outside has gotten quite high. In South Georgia, not only do we have heat, but we have a tremendous amount of humidity. And you got to know when to kind of stop, when to slow down for the day. We've got things we need to be canning inside. I've got plenty of work to do outside, but we're not going to do it in the heat of the day. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to come and spend it with us here at our urban homestead, where we grow a lot of food on a very small piece of property. We always hope that we encourage somebody to plant something in their yard. If you're in an urban setting like us, in a subdivision, you can still grow a tremendous amount of food. Y'all have a great day. We appreciate you. Keep our family in your prayers, and we'll be praying for you.